the dishwater, mind at the gate, tracing a doorway she'd have to create.
She never waited to be saved. She chose to grow stronger every day. She is Cinderella. Once upon a time, a rich man's wife fell gravely ill. Before she passed, she told her daughter,
"Stay kind and faithful. God will protect you, and I will watch over you from heaven."
Then she closed her eyes and was gone. Day after day, she wept by her mother's grave, yet never lost her kindness. As the seasons changed, so did her life. Her father took another wife. She brought with her 2 daughters, beautiful on the outside, but wicked within. And soon, the poor girl's life became unbearable. They dressed her in rags and wooden shoes.
Look at the princess now! Let's get you to the kitchen where you belong.
From morning until night, she worked without rest, rising before dawn to carry water, light the fires, cook, and wash. Her stepsisters found every way to hurt her. They mocked her and scattered peas and lentils into the ashes, forcing her to sit and pick them out.
Look at her hands. Look at her hands. She's gonna be there all night. So clumsy.
By evening, she often slept among the ashes, and covered in dust and dirt, she was called Cinderella. One day, as her father went to the fair, he asked his daughters what they wished for.
Beautiful dresses, pearls, and jewels.
Father, when you came back later, bring me the first twig that brushes your hat on your way home. All that matters is that you arrive safely.
He brought back beautiful dresses, pearls, and jewels for his stepdaughters. On his way home, a hazel twig brushed his hat and knocked it off. So he broke it
I
off
have brought
and
these
took it with
and
him.
more. Oh, Father.
They are beautiful. Thank you.
She went to her mother's grave and planted it there. As she wept, her tears fell upon it and watered it, until it grew into a beautiful tree. Every day, Cinderella went to the tree to weep and pray, and each time, a white bird came granting her wishes, dropping down whatever she desired. One day, the king announced a grand festival to last 3 days. All the young maidens in the land were invited, so the prince could choose his bride.
To the royal ball.
Cinderella, comb our hair, brush our shoes. We are going to the festival at the king's castle.
She longed to go too, and softly begged her stepmother for permission.
You? Covered in dust and dirt? You have no dress, no shoes, and yet you want to dance?
I've scattered lentils in the ashes. Pick them out in 2 hours and you may come.
Cinderella ran to the garden and called for help, and the birds came. In a flurry of wings, they gathered the grains in no time.
People would laugh. Do it again, twice as much, less time.
Once again, the birds came to her aid, finishing the work even faster. Cinderella returned, her heart full of hope.
You are not fit to attend. People would laugh.
And with that, they left Cinderella behind.
You are not coming with us. We would be ashamed of you.
Left alone, Cinderella went to her mother's grave beneath the hazel tree and cried out,
Shake and quiver, little tree. Throw gold and silver down to me.
In an instant, she was transformed into a dress of gold and silver, with delicate slippers to match, and went to the festival. Her stepmother and stepsisters did not recognize her. To them, she was a foreign princess, radiant in gold. The prince took her hand and danced only with her until she wished to leave.
I will escort you.
When she wished to leave, the prince was determined to know who she truly was. The prince followed her, but is lost sight. The prince waited in front of Pigeon Coop until her father came and told him the mysterious girl had gone inside.
Could it be Cinderella?
They broke open the coop, but it was empty.
What could have taken them?
When they returned home, Cinderella was there, lying in the ashes in her ragged clothes.
You came, chirp, chirp, and brought the sunshine in. Chirp, chirp, chirp.
The next day, when the festival began again, Cinderella went to the hazel tree again. At once, the bird gave her an even more magnificent dress than before.
She's here. How magnificent.
The prince, who had been waiting, took her hand at once and danced only with her. At evening, she slipped away, and the prince followed to find where she lived. She fled to the garden, climbed a pear tree, and vanished.
The mysterious girl escaped me. I believe she climbed this tree.
Could it be Cinderella?
Her father ordered the tree to be cut down, but when it fell, no one was there. Back in the kitchen, Cinderella lay among the ashes as always.
I've never been this happy.
On the third day, Cinderella returned to her mother's grave again. The bird gave her an even more magnificent dress and slippers. At evening, she fled. The prince followed, but couldn't catch her. He had set a trap, covering the stairs with pitch. As she fled, one slipper stuck on the stairs. The next morning, the prince came with the slipper and declared,
"No one shall be my bride except the one whose foot fits this shoe."
My foot is small. It will fit, I'm sure.
No, mine is smaller. It must be me.
The eldest tried first, but the shoe was too tight. She forced the shoe on despite the pain. The prince believed her and chose her as his bride. But as they passed the hazel tree, two pigeons cried out.
There's blood in the shoe!
The prince looked down at once. He turned his horse around and brought the false bride back.
She is not the one. Let the other sister try.
The second sister slipped her toes into the shoe, but her heel would not fit. But as they passed the hazel tree, the pigeons cried out,
"There's blood in the shoe! This bride is not true."
This is not the right one either. Do you have another daughter? Please.
The prince insisted. Though her stepmother protested, Cinderella was called.
Graciela! Graciela, come quickly! Look at her. She cannot be the bride.
Quietly, she removed her heavy wooden shoes. When she stood, the prince looked into her face and recognized the girl he had danced with. The stepmother and her two daughters suddenly faint in shock.
The fit is just right! This bride is true!
Pigeons gently landed on her shoulders and stayed by her side. When the wedding was held, the two false sisters came, hoping to share in Cinderella's fortune. As they followed the bride, a flock of pigeons suddenly descended, swarming their faces, leaving them blinded as they stumbled forward.